Greetings from JSI Study Center. World Top News, a different initiative from our end. Hope you all are going to enjoy this video. So, without getting further delay, let's start our first important news. Britain receives 6 million applications for legal residence. London. 6 million EU residents have applied for permanent residence in Britain. The British government had set a June 30 deadline for those seeking permanent residence in the UK. After leaving the EU in 2020, Britain developed a new immigration system to allow EU citizens who had lived in Britain before December 31, 2020 to retain the right to work, study and access benefits. Let's move to our next important news. 82-year-old female pilot to go into space with Jeff Bezos, Kent, Washington. 60 years after pursuing NASA's astronaut training program for women, Wally Funk will be blasting off with Amazon founder Jeff Bezos on the first manned Blue Origin space flight on July 20. The 82-year-old Funk will be the oldest person ever to travel into space, Blue Origin said on Thursday. She will be launched into space aboard Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket as it travels more than 62 miles above Earth into suborbital spaces. Let's move to our next important news, please. Turkey urges third vaccine for older citizens, healthcare workers. Istanbul, Turkey. Turkey announced on Thursday that it is asking some people earlier vaccinated with a Chinese vaccine to receive a booster shot as protection from the fast spreading Delta COVID variant. Turkish officials said the public should receive the third vaccination regardless of the type of vaccination they earlier received. Besides Turkey, Bahrain is also offering boosters to people who received 2 doses of a vaccine made by Chinese drug maker Sinopharm. Let's move to our next important news, please. Walmart de Mexico to rehire older grocery packers let go during COVID. Mexico City, Mexico. Walmart de Mexico announced on Wednesday that it would again hire older workers as grocery packers after laying them off in March 2020 during the height of the COVID pandemic. Prior to the pandemic, some 35,000 Mexicans, most aged 60 to 74, packed groceries at Walmart and other chains in Mexico. However, older workers were let go due to the vulnerability to COVID during the pandemic. Let's move to our next important news, please. Miami collapse. Remaining structure demolished over safety fears. The remaining section of a partially collapsed apartment block near Miami has been demolished over safety fears as a tropical storm approaches Florida. On Sunday night, explosive charges were used to bring down the last standing part of Champlain Tower South, which had been evacuated on June 24th. Part of the block suddenly collapsed. 24 people are known to have died and 121 are still missing. Crews resumed the search for victims with a few hours of the demolition. They are now hoping to be able to get into the apartment block's underground garage, which they could not access safely before, and get a clearer picture of any voids that may exist in the rubble. Let's move to our next important news, please. Afghanistan. All foreign troops must have by deadline. Taliban. Any foreign troops left in Afghanistan after NATO's September withdrawal deadline will be at risk as occupiers, the Taliban has told the BBC. It comes amid reports that 1,000 mainly US troops could remain on the ground to protect diplomatic mission and Kabul's international airport. NATO's 20-year military mission in Afghanistan has all but ended, but violence in the country continues to rise, with the Taliban taking move territory. Under a deal with the militant group, the US and its NATO allies agreed to withdraw all troops to return for a commitment by the Taliban not to allow Al Qaeda or any other extreme group to operate in the area they control. Let's move to our next important news, please. Indonesia faces oxygen crisis amid worsening COVID surge. Indonesia's government has ordered producers to prioritize medical oxygen amid a COVID surge and a shortage of oxygen in a number of cities. Hospitals say they have almost exhausted supplies, with one reporting that 63 patients died as a result of oxygen shortages. Indonesia is recording more than 25,000 new cases every day. Increased travel and the highly contagious Delta variant have exacerbated the crisis. Indonesia has had the worst COVID outbreak in Southeast Asia, with about 2.3 million positive cases and more than 60,000 deaths so far. Let's move to our next important news. Dozens killed in Philippine military plane crash. 50 people have died and dozens more have been injured after a military plane crashed in the Philippines. The Lockheed C-131 transport aircraft was carrying 96 people, mostly troops, when it overshot a runway at Jolo Airport in Sulu province on Sunday. The soldiers were among reinforcements sent to combat Islamist militants such as Abu Sayyaf group. The dead are mainly military personnel, but 3 civilians on the ground were also killed, the defense ministry said. 5 people were initially listed as missing, but all passengers on board have now been accounted for. Let's move to our next slide, please. Pope responds well to Cologne surgery at Rome Hospital. Pope Francis has undergone successful surgery to treat a colon problem at a hospital in Rome, the Vatican says. The 84-year-old responded well to the treatment, which was performed under general anesthetic. Vatican spokesman Matteo Bouri said, "It is first time Pope Francis has been admitted to hospital since his election in 2013. Earlier on Sunday, the Argentine pontiff addressed thousands of visitors in St. Peter's Square. In an earlier settlement, the Vatican said Pope Francis was being travelled at a Gemelli University Hospital for symptomatic diverticular stenosis of the colon. Diverticular disease is a condition that involves bulges in the wall of the large intestine. This can lead to a narrowing of the colon. Let's move to our next important news, please. Didi says removal of app in China will affect business. China's biggest ride-hailing company, Didi Jaxing, has warned there will be an adverse impact on its revenues after its app was removed from Chinese stores. China's internet regulator ordered App Store to stop offering Didi's app on Sunday. It says the firm illegally collected users' personal data. It comes just days after the tech giant began selling shares on the New York Stock Exchange. The removal doesn't affect existing users but all prevent new users registering on the country's biggest ride hailing platform. The company will strive to rectify any problem, improve its risk prevention, awareness, and technological capabilities, protect users' privacy and data security, and continue to provide secure and convenient services to its users. Let's move to our next important news. White House says it is reaching out to ransomware victims. The White House said on Sunday it was reaching out to victims of a wide-ranging ransomware outbreak centered on a Florida-based information technology company. In a statement, Deputy National Security Advisor for Cyber Annie Neuberger said the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security's cyber arm will reach out to identified victims to provide assistance based upon an assessment of national risk. The full impact of intrusion at Kaseya is still coming into focus, in part because the affected Kaseya software tool is used by so-called managed service providers, outsourcing shops that other business use to handle their back office IT works, the installing operations. Let's move to our next news, please. Tokyo Assembly split after vote amid pandemic Olympics fears. An election in Japan's capital has left the Tokyo City Assembly splintered amid worries about health risks during the Olympics opening in 3 weeks as coronavirus cases continues to rise. In Sunday's balloting for 127 seats, government Yuriko Koike's Tomin First Party was elected in 31 seats, down from 46. The Liberal Democrats, the ruling party on the national level, own 33 seats, up from 25. Public opinion surveys show about 60% of respondents want the game cancelled or postponed again. Behind the fear is the lagging vaccination rollout, with only about 10% of the population fully vaccinated. Let's move to our today's last slide. Thank you all for watching till end. You all are requested to subscribe, like and share with your friends. Don't forget to hit the bell icon for latest updates from our end. So, till our next video, do take care of yourself and have a great moment ahead. Thank you once again.